Listen to me. You've been distracted for too long. You've been giving your time, your energy, your life to things and people that don't pour back into you. But it's time right now to focus and to value yourself, because until you do, the world won't. The truth is nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to hand you success. It's on you. So stop undervaluing yourself. Stop giving your life to distraction. Focus, grind, and put the right price tag on your life, because you're worth more than you've been accepting. Listen to me, you gotta understand something right now. Your life is too valuable to keep giving it away to distractions. Every single day you wake up with 24 hours. That's it, 24 hours. And those hours don't care how you use them. They don't care if you waste them scrolling endlessly, watching things that don't build you, spending time in circles where people are complaining, but not doing anything about it. Those hours don't stop for you. They don't slow down because you weren't paying attention. They just keep moving. And every second that passes is one you'll never get back. That's why you gotta cut out distraction. You can't afford to keep giving your best energy to things that don't pay you back, that don't grow you, that don't push you closer to the life you've been dreaming of. Some of you don't realize it, but distraction is the #1 killer of destiny. It's not always failure that stops people. It's not even always fear. It's the constant little distractions that pull you off course, that eat away at your focus one small piece at a time. Start the day with a plan, but the moment your phone dings, you're gone. The moment someone starts gossiping, you lean in. The moment an opportunity to procrastinate shows up, you take it. Before you know it, your entire day is gone, and you've given your hours away to things that don't matter. And then you wonder why you're not where you want to be. You wonder why your dreams feel so far away. It's because you've been paying attention to the wrong things. You got to decide today, what do you want more? Your distractions or your destiny? You can't have both. You can't expect to reach greatness if you're dividing your attention between everything, everyone who asks for a piece of you. Greatness requires focus. Success requires discipline. Achieving your goals requires that you be ruthless about what you allow into your life. That means cutting off distractions, even if they feel comfortable, even if they feel fun, even if they're the things you've been doing for years. Think about it. Every champion you admire, every successful person you look up to, every leader who's made an impact, and they didn't get there by giving their time to distraction. They weren't binge watching when they should have been working. They weren't playing around when they should have been practicing. They weren't sitting around talking about what they were going to do. They were locked in. They understood that the world is full of noise, but only those who learn to silence that noise can hear the voice of their own purpose clearly. Some of you are in environments right now where distraction is the culture. Everybody's playing around. Everybody's wasting time. Everybody's caught up in gossip, in negativity, in blaming others. And because you're in that environment, you've adapted to it. You've normalized it. You don't even see how much it's costing you because it's all around you. But I need you to wake up today and realize, just because everybody else is distracted doesn't mean you have to be. Just because they're wasting their lives doesn't mean you should throw yours away too. You've got to rise above it. You've got to make a decision that you're going to live differently, think differently, act differently. You've got to set a new standard for yourself. And that starts with cutting off distractions at the root. If your phone is the biggest distraction, then discipline yourself. Set boundaries. Put it down when it's time to work. If social media is pulling you in, then limit your time or delete it for a season. If certain people in your life keep pulling you off track, then you've got to distance yourself. Yes, I said it. Some of you are too afraid to let go of people who are keeping you distracted. But until you do, you'll never be able to reach the level of focus you need. Do you know how many people go to the graves with unfulfilled dreams, with potential that was never realized, with goals that were never achieved? Not because they weren't smart enough, not because they weren't talented enough, but because they were distracted. They allowed life to pull them in every direction, and in the end, they never went anywhere. They were busy but not productive. They were entertained but not fulfilled. They were connected to everything but disconnected from their own purpose. That cannot be your story. You've got to develop tunnel vision. When a horse runs a race, it wears blinders. Why? Because if it looks to the left or the right, it will slow down. it will get distracted by what the other horses are doing. Those blinders force it to focus straight ahead to run its own race. You've got to put on your blinders. You've got to stop looking at what everybody else is doing. Stop comparing your life to theirs. Stop worrying about their path. Focus on your own, because the moment you look to the side, you lose speed. The moment you get caught up in their lane, you start slowing down on your own. Listen, cutting out distractions are not easy. Let's be real. Those distractions are comfortable. They're familiar. They're enjoyable in the moment. But the problem is, they rob you of the future you really want. It's like eating candy all day. It's good right now, but it destroys your body long term. Distractions feel good in the moment, but they destroy your destiny over time. And here's the truth. If you want something different, you gotta be willing to do something different. You can't keep living distracted and expect focused results. I'm telling you right now, some of you need to take a hard look at your life. What's stealing your focus? What's draining your time? What's pulling you away from your goals? Write it down. Be honest with yourself. And then make a plan to cut it out. Because if you don't deal with your distractions will deal with you. They will rob you blind. They will steal your energy, your time, your opportunities, and leave you wondering why your life doesn't look the way you dreamed it would. You got too much inside you to waste. There are gifts in you the world hasn't even seen yet. Yet there are ideas, businesses, books, art, movements, innovations inside you waiting to be born. But as long as you're distracted, those things stay locked inside. They never see the light of day. And one day, you'll look back and realize you were the one who robbed the world of your potential, simply because you couldn't stop giving your attention to things that didn't matter. So here's the challenge. Make distraction your enemy, wage war against it. Treat your focus like treasure and protect it at all costs. Be intentional about where your time goes. Schedule your days, create boundaries, remove temptations, build habits that make focus easy. And when distractions show up, and they will remind yourself that your destiny is bigger, your goals are more important, and your future is worth fighting for. I need you to get this deep in your spirit. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you're voting for the person you want to become. Every time you say no to what doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to your destiny. Every time you guard your time, you're increasing your value. And every time you lock in, you're building the life you've been praying for. So stop giving yourself away to distraction. Stop letting them dictate your future. Stop settling for average because you can't control your focus. It's time to take your life back. It's time to lock in on your goals, your growth, your purpose. It's time to cut out the noise and focus on the voice inside of you that's been calling you to greater. Because at the end of the day, distraction is cheap, but your life is priceless. And when you finally learn to value yourself enough to cut out the distractions, that's when you'll discover the greatness that's been inside you all along. Your time is your life. Let that sink in for a moment. Every second, every minute, every hour you live, you are spending the only currency that truly matters: time. You can lose money and make it back. You can lose possessions and get new ones. You can even lose relationships and build new ones. But once time is gone, once those seconds tick away, you will never get them back. That's why you gotta stop treating your time like it's cheap. You've gotta stop giving it away freely to people, places, and habits that don't deserve it. If your time is your life, then wasting time is literally wasting your life. So many people don't realize how much they undervalue their own time. They give it away for free. They let people interrupt their goals whenever they want. They spend hours scrolling, hours watching, hours talking about nothing. They act like their time is unlimited, like they're guaranteed tomorrow. But you're not guaranteed anything. Nobody knows how much time they have left, and that should wake you up. That should make you serious about protecting every single moment you've been given. Because each hour is a piece of your life. And once you hand it away, you don't get it back. Look at how you spend your days. That's your life right there. Not some dream far in the future, not some vision board you made last year. Your life is what you're doing right now today, this hour. And if today you're wasting time, then your life is being wasted. But if today you're investing your time into growth, into your goals, into your health, into your relationships, then your life is moving in the direction you want it to. That's how powerful time is. It shapes everything. It determines who you become. The truth is, you don't have a time problem. You have a priority problem. Everybody gets the same 24 hours. The difference is in how people use them. Some people invest their time wisely and they build empire. They build businesses, they build families, they build legacies. Others spend their time carelessly and they end up with regrets, with wasted potential, with lives that never went anywhere. It's not about how much time you had, it's about how much value you give to the time you've been given. If I followed you around for a week, I could tell you exactly how much you value your life by how you spend your time. Do you wake up with intention, with purpose, with a plan for what you're going to accomplish? Or do you roll out of bed and just let the day happen to you? Do you put your time into things that pay you back, like learning, working on your craft, building your health, connecting with people who matter? Or do you spend it on things that take and never give back? Your life will always reflect how you answer those questions. Some of you treat your time like it's nothing, but you get mad when other people waste your money. You guard your wallet more than you guard your hours. But here's the truth. Money is replaceable. Time is not. That's why wealthy people understand that time is more valuable than anything else. They pay for convenience. They delegate tasks. They protect their calendars. They know that every moment they waste is money lost, opportunity lost, life lost. If you're serious about success, you got to start thinking the same way. Stop letting people steal your hours. Stop giving away chunks of your day to things that don't serve you. Start treating your time like the treasure it is. Think about this. What if you only had 1 year left to live? Would you still waste hours scrolling through feeds? Would you still spend nights binging shows instead of chasing your dreams? Would you still say yes to people who drain your energy? No, you get serious. You get intentional. You cut out all the nonsense and focus on what truly matters. The reality is, you don't know how much time you have left. So live like it's limited. Live like it's valuable. Live like every hour counts. Because it does. Your time is either an investment or an expense. When you invest your time, you put it into things that grow you, that pay dividends later. Reading that book, practicing that skill, working out, spending time with loved ones, building your business, those things multiply. They add value to your future. But when you waste time, it's an expense. You spend it and it's gone forever with nothing to show for it. And if you keep spending your life on expenses instead of investments, you'll end more bankrupt. Not financially, but emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and in terms of your purpose. Here's the crazy part. Most people know this. Deep down, you know when you're wasting time. You know when you're not being productive. You know when you're not living up to your potential. But you convince yourself that it's harmless. You tell yourself you'll get serious tomorrow. You tell yourself it's just 1 more hour, just 1 more day. But those are 1 mores, they add up. 1 more wasted day becomes 1 more wasted week. 1 more wasted week becomes 1 more wasted year. And before you know it, you've wasted a decade. You wasted the prime years of your life, and you can't get them back. That's why you can't keep putting this off. You gotta make the change now. Start by auditing your time. Sit down and write out how you spend your hours. Be honest. How much of it is going to things that matter? How much of it is going to distractions? Once you see it on paper, you'll realize how much life you've been throwing away. Then you can make adjustments. Then you can cut out what doesn't serve you. You can prioritize what builds you. You can start investing instead of spending. You've also got to stop letting other people dictate how you spend your time. Some of you are living by everyone else's schedule, but your own. Every time your phone rings, you answer. Every time someone needs you, you drop everything. You're available for everyone all the time. But the question is, are you available for yourself? Are you available for your own goals? Are you available for your own dreams? Because if you're not, then you're living everybody else's life but your own. You've got to start saying no. You've got to set boundaries. You've got to make it clear that your time is valuable and you won't just give it away. Let me tell you something. When you start valuing your time, you'll notice that people respect you more. They'll know you're serious. They'll know you're not just playing games with your life. And the right people will understand because they value their time too. The ones who get mad, the ones who guilt trip you, the ones who don't respect your boundaries. Those are the very people who shouldn't have access to your time in the first place. Listen, your dreams are not going to wait for you forever. Your goals are not going to sit around while you waste years being distracted. Opportunities come and go. Windows open and close. And if you don't use your time wisely, you will miss them. That's why urgency is so important. That's why you got to live every day like it matters, because it does. You don't know how many more you've got. At the end of your life, you're not going to regret the money you didn't make or the things you didn't buy. You're going to regret the time you wasted. You're going to regret the hours you gave away to things that didn't matter. You're going to regret not spending more time on your purpose, your passion, your family, your growth. And the sad truth is, once you get to that point, it's too late. You can't go back and change it. But right now, today, you still can. You still have time, and that's the gift. So treat every day like the gift it is. Wake up with gratitude, but also with urgency. Don't just drift through the hours, direct them. Don't just spend your time investing. Don't just exist. Live with purpose. Make every second count, because every second is your life. When you finally start valuing your time, everything changes. You become more focused. You become more disciplined. You become more intentional. And the results start showing up, because results are always the fruit of how you use your time. If you want a better life, you don't need more chances. You don't need more luck. You don't even need more resources. You need to master your time, because your time is your life, and how you spend it will always determine who you become. Stop seeking approval. Stop living your life trying to get a pat on the back from people who don't even know where they're going themselves. Too many of you are living for likes, living for claps, living for compliments, living for someone else to tell you that you're enough. And the problem with that is you've given away your power. You've handed your life over to other people's opinion. You're letting someone else's validation determine your value. And as long as you keep doing that, you'll never truly know who you are, and you'll never reach the level you're capable of. You've got to understand this. Your worth is not up for debate. Your value doesn't rise and fall depending on what people think of you. You were valuable the moment you were born. You were valuable before you proved anything, before you achieved anything, before anyone believed in you. Their value was built in. But when you start chasing approval, you forget that. You start believing that you're only as good as the last compliment you got, the last like you got, the last person who told you they believe in you. That's a dangerous way to live, because people are inconsistent. Their opinions change. One day they love you. The next day they can't stand you. One day you're the hero. The next day you're the villain. If you build your identity on their approval, then your entire life becomes unstable. Look, people will always have something to say. No matter what you do, no matter how hard you work, no matter how good your intentions are, somebody will have an opinion. If you succeed, some will say you're arrogant. If you fail, some will say you're a loser. If you try something new, some will say you're crazy. If you stay the same, some will say you're lazy. There's no winning with people's opinions. And that's why you got to stop playing that game. You got to stop seeking their approval and start living for something deeper, your own purpose, your own vision, your own standard. When you stop seeking approval, you set yourself free. You free yourself from the need to please everyone. You free yourself from the prison of comparison. You free yourself from the weight of living up to other people's expectations. And for the first time, you can focus on what really matters, becoming the person you were created to be. You can start chasing your goals, not because they'll impress anyone, but because they mean something to you. You can start making decisions not because they'll win you applause, but because they align with your values. That's real freedom. That's real power. Think about how many dreams never come to life because people were too worried about what others would say. Think about how many talents are buried because someone was scared of looking foolish. Think about how many lives are half lived because someone was waiting for approval that never came. That's one of the saddest things in the world, to let your life be controlled by people who won't even remember your name 50 years from now. To give up your destiny just to avoid criticism from people who have never built anything themselves. You got to stop letting fear of judgment hold you hostage. People are going to talk regardless. If you do nothing, they'll talk. If you do something, they'll talk. If you play small, they'll talk. If you dream big, they'll talk. So you might as well do what's in your heart. You might as well chase the dream. You might as well live boldly, because their words don't change your worth and their approval doesn't define your destiny. Here's the truth. The people you're so worried about impressing, they're not even thinking about you as much as you think. Most people are too busy with their own insecurities, their own struggles, their own lives to be analyzing yours all day long. And yet you're holding yourself back because of them. You're shrinking, you're hesitating, you're delaying your purpose, all for people who barely care. That's insanity. That's self-sabotage, and you gotta break free from it. Start by learning how to validate yourself, learn how to look in the mirror and affirm your own worth. Learn how to clap for yourself when nobody else is clapping. Learn how to celebrate your progress even if no one notices. Because the moment you stop needing outside approval, you become unstoppable. The moment you stop waiting for permission, you can finally move forward. And the moment you stop tying your value to people's opinions, you can finally focus on the only approval that matters, yours and God. Let me tell you something. Greatness is never approved at the beginning. Most people don't recognize it until it's finished. When you're starting out, they'll laugh. When you're building, they'll doubt. When you're sacrificing, they'll criticize. But when you win, when you succeed, when you rise to the top, then they'll want to clap. Then they'll say they always believed in you. Then they'll act like they knew you were destined for greatness. That's why you can't live for their approval. It's too late. It always comes after the fact. If you wait for it, you'll never start. The people who change the world, the people who make history, the people who achieve greatness, they all had to ignore the voices of doubt. They all had to keep going when nobody believed. They all had to stand alone at some point. They didn't wait for approval. They created it. They lived with vision, not validation. And that's what you gotta do. Ask yourself, how much of your life is being lived for other people right now? How many of your choices are based on what you think they'll say? How many times have you silenced yourself, held back, or played small just because you were afraid of losing approval? And the bigger question, how much longer are you going to keep doing that? Because the longer you live for approval, the further you drift from your true self. And the day you stop seeking approval, that's the day you get your life back. You've got to build confidence from within. That means doing the hard work of becoming the best version of yourself. Not so people will clap, but because you owe it to yourself. That means setting your own standards, not living by everyone else's. That means trusting your vision, even when others can't see it yet. And that means accepting that you won't please everyone. And that's okay, because you weren't created to please everyone. You were created to live your purpose. Don't get me wrong. Feedback is important. Accountability is important. Community is important. But there's a difference between receiving wisdom and seeking approval. One helps you grow. The other keeps you stuck. One builds you up. The other drains you. You gotta know the difference. And you gotta decide whose voice really matters in your life. Spoiler alert. It's not the voice of every random critic, every hater, every person who doesn't understand your journey. When you stop seeking approval, you'll start moving faster. You'll stop hesitating, stop second guessing, stop waiting for the green light. You'll start trusting yourself, taking action, making bold moves. And you'll realize that you never needed their permission to begin with. The power was always in your hand. So stop living for likes. Stop living for claps. Stop living for compliments. And start living for your calling. Start living for your goals. Start living for the standard you set for yourself. Because at the end of your life, the people you were trying so hard to impress won't be the ones facing your regrets. You will. And I promise you this, it's better to live misunderstood but fulfilled than approved but empty. You don't need their approval to start. You don't need their approval to keep going. And you don't need their approval to finish. You are enough. You've always been enough. And the sooner you stop seeking approval, the sooner you'll start living the life you were meant to live. Protect your energy. Protect it like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. Your energy is the fuel that drives everything you do. Is what powers your focus, your creativity, your discipline, your passion, your relationship, your work. Without energy, you can't execute. Without energy, you can't grow. Without energy, you can't show up as your best self. And yet, too many of you are out here giving your energy away to people and things that don't deserve it. Pouring yourself into situations that drain you, and then wondering why you feel exhausted, why you feel unmotivated, why you feel stuck. It's not that you don't have what it takes. It's that you keep letting your energy get stolen. You got to realize that your energy is limited. Just like your time, it's not infinite. You only wake up with so much energy in a day, and how you spend it determines what you get out of life. If you waste it on negativity, you won't have enough left for your goals. If you waste it on toxic people, you won't have enough left for your dreams. If you waste it on drama, you won't have enough left for your destiny. And that's why protecting your energy is not optional, it's essential. Some of you wake up in the morning, and the first thing you do is scroll through negativity. You're giving your mind junk food before the day even starts. Then you wonder why you feel heavy, why you can't focus, why you don't have drive. You gave your energy away before you even got out of bed. You've got to guard the gates of your mind. You've got to be intentional about what you let in, because whatever you consume is going to affect your energy. If you want to stay positive, stop feeding on negativity. If you want to stay motivated, stop feeding on nonsense. If you want to stay focused, stop letting distractions consume your attention. Protecting your energy also means protecting yourself from people who drain you. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The people who always have a problem but never a solution. The ones who complain about everything but never change anything. The ones who gossip, who criticize, who tear you down, who make you feel small. Those people are like emotional vampires. They suck the life out of you. And if you keep letting them, you'll never have the energy you need to build your own life. You've got to start setting boundaries. You've got to limit your access to people who drain you. You've got to get comfortable with saying no, because every yes to them is a no to your own growth. And listen, sometimes the person draining you is not someone else, it's you. Sometimes the biggest thief of your energy is your own negative self-talk, your own procrastination, your own bad habits. You're beating yourself up over mistakes, replaying failures, doubting your worth, wasting time, staying up late, doing nothing productive, and then you wake up tired, frustrated and wondering why life feels heavy. You've got to stop sabotaging your own energy. You've got to replace self-criticism with self-compassion, replace procrastination with discipline, replace late-night distractions with rest. Protecting your energy means protecting yourself from yourself when necessary. You also have to pay attention to the environments you put yourself in. Your environment has a massive impact on your energy. If you're always in spaces filled with chaos, clutter, or negativity, it's going to drain you. If you're always surrounded by people who don't believe in anything, who have no ambition, who live in drama, it's going to drain you. Energy is contagious. If you hang around 5 tired, unmotivated, negative people, you'll become the 6th. If you hang around 5 focused, passionate, disciplined people, you'll become the 6th. That's how powerful energy is. And that's why you've got to be intentional about your circle, about your spaces, about your environments. Put yourself where energy is positive, where it's growth focused, where it's aligned with your purpose. Protecting your energy also means taking care of your body. Don't think you can neglect your health and still expect to have energy. If you're eating junk, not exercising, not sleeping enough, you're training yourself physically, and it will affect every other area of your life. Your body is your engine. If the engine is weak, the car won't run no matter how hard you press the gas. You gotta fuel it with the right food, rest it with enough sleep, strengthen it with movement. Taking care of your health is one of the most powerful ways to protect your energy, because when your body is strong, your mind is sharper, your spirit is lighter, your focus is stronger. And let's talk about your mental energy. Some of you are drained not because of what you're doing physically, but because of what you're carrying mentally. You're holding on to grudges, regrets, worries, fears. You're replaying the past and stressing about the future. And all of that is costing you energy right now. You've got to learn how to let go, forgive, release, focus on what you can control and let go of what you can't. The more mental baggage you carry, the less energy you'll have for the present moment. And the present moment is where your power is. So protecting your energy means refusing to let yesterday or tomorrow drain you of today. Another key to protecting your energy is alignment. When you're living out of alignment with your purpose, your values, your true self, you will always feel drained. That's why some of you are so tired. It's not that you're doing too much, it's that you're doing too much of the wrong thing. You're working jobs that don't fulfill you, pursuing goals that don't excite you, living lives that don't reflect who you really are. That misalignment is draining your energy every single day. But when you start living alignment, when your actions match your values, when your goals match your calling, when your life matches your truth, suddenly you'll feel more energy. You'll feel more alive. Because nothing drains you faster than living a lie, and nothing energizes you more than living authentically. Here's what I need you to understand. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's necessary. You can't pour into anyone else if you're empty. You can't help the world if you're burned out. You can't reach your goals if you're exhausted all the time. Taking care of yourself, setting boundaries, saying no, recharging, that's not weakness, that's wisdom. Because when you protect your energy, you're protecting your ability to show up, to give, to create, to serve, to succeed. So how do you start? First, get clear on what drains you and what fuels you. Pay attention. Who leaves you feeling heavy? Who leaves you feeling inspired? What activities leave you tired but unfulfilled? And what activities leave you tired but fulfilled? There's a difference. There's a difference. Once you know what drains and what fuels you, start cutting back on the drains and leaning into the fuels. Start scheduling time for things that recharge you, like rest, creativity, prayer, meditation, exercise, learning. Start saying no to things that deplete you. Protect your energy with the same seriousness that you protect your money or your possessions, because it's even more valuable. Second, set boundaries. Stop giving everyone unlimited access to you. You don't have to answer every call, reply to every text, show up to every event. You don't have to explain your boundaries to everyone either. Just protect your energy and let the results speak for themselves. The people who love you will understand, and the people who don't understand don't need access to you anyway. Third, build habits that keep your energy high. Start your mornings with intention instead of distraction. Move your body every day. Eat food that fuels you. Surround yourself with uplifting people. Limit your exposure to negativity. Create routines that support your goals instead of sabotage them. Protecting your energy isn't just about avoiding drains. It's about actively building a life that energizes you. When you protect your energy, you'll notice everything else improves. Your focus gets sharper. Your mood gets lighter. Your discipline gets stronger. Your relationships get healthier. Your work gets better, because energy is the foundation of everything. And when you finally take control of it, you take control of your life. So don't apologize for protecting your energy. Don't feel guilty for saying no. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for choosing peace over chaos, focus over distraction, growth over drama. You're not here to be drained. You're here to live fully, to give fully, to create fully, to become everything you're capable of. And you can't do that if you're always running on empty. Protect your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is the highest form of self-love you can ever give yourself. Too many people confuse discipline with restriction. They see it as something negative, something that takes away their freedom. But the truth is, the people with the greatest freedom in this world are the ones who live disciplined lives. Discipline gives you control over your body, your mind, and your destiny. Waking up early when your body wants to sleep. Pushing through when your emotions want to quit. Choosing water when soda's right there. Choosing to read when scrolling is easier. That's discipline. And every time you make that choice, you're telling yourself, I'm me enough to do what's best for me, not what's easiest for me. You see, self-love is not always about pampering yourself, buying yourself something new, or taking a day off. Self-love is often tough, raw, and uncomfortable. It's waking up at 5 a.m. to work on your dream, even when no one is watching. It's saying no to friends who want to party, when you know you got goals to achieve. It's putting in the work today so your future self can live better tomorrow. That's what love looks like. Choosing what you need over what you want. Anybody can give in to comfort. Anybody can let emotions run the show. But real champions discipline themselves because they see the bigger picture. When you don't have discipline, you're sending a message to yourself that you don't value your life enough to protect it from bad choices. You're letting short-term feelings rob you of long-term blessings. Discipline is the wall you build around your greatness. It keeps out laziness, procrastination, and self-doubt. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, whether it's hitting the gym, saving money, finishing a project, You're casting a vote for the person you want to become. That's why discipline isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's shaping you into the version of yourself you've been dreaming about. Think about it like this. If you had a child, you wouldn't feed them junk every day. You wouldn't let them stay up all night. You wouldn't let them skip school. Why? Because you love them. You know that even if they cry, even if they get mad, what you're doing is for their good. But here's the problem. You don't treat yourself with that same love. You let yourself slide. You let yourself binge. You let yourself skip the work. And then you wonder why your life isn't moving forward. If you love yourself the way you say you do, you would discipline yourself the way a loving parent disciplines day or. You protect your future even when it's uncomfortable in the present. Discipline is not just about habits. It's about identity. When you discipline yourself, you're telling the world, this is who I am. I am someone who respects myself. I am someone who takes my goals seriously. I am someone who can be trusted with success. Success is not for the talented. It's not even for the lucky. It's for the disciplined. You can be gifted, but without discipline, you're wasted. You can have opportunities, but without discipline, you'll lose them. You can pray for blessings, but without discipline, you won't be able to handle them. That's why discipline is love. Because it gives you the structure to hold the weight of your own dreams. Some of you think discipline is hard, but I promise you, regret is harder. Waking up every day knowing you could have been further, knowing you should have been better, knowing you let opportunities pass by. That pain is much heavier than the pain of waking up early or saying no to a distraction. Discipline is temporary pain for permanent reward. Regret is temporary comfort for permanent pain. Which one do you want to live with? Which one shows more love for yourself? Every time you choose discipline, you're planting seeds. You might not see the results today or tomorrow, but a harvest is coming. When you choose to study instead of wasting time, a harvest is coming. When you choose to work on your health instead of destroying your body, a harvest is coming. When you choose to build your character instead of taking shortcuts, a harvest is coming. And when that season arrives, you'll look back and thank yourself for every disciplined decision you made. That's why I call Paul, because you're not just loving yourself today, you're loving the future you. Understand, discipline doesn't take away joy, it creates deeper joy. It creates deeper joy. When you discipline your money, you get to experience the joy of financial freedom. When you discipline your health, you get to experience the joy of energy and strength. When you discipline your craft, you get to experience the joy of mastery and success. Without discipline, your life will always be controlled by cravings and impulses, and those things never give lasting joy. But with discipline, you get peace, pride, and fulfillment, things comfort can never give you. Stop lying to yourself that you'll start tomorrow. Stop telling yourself you'll change when things get easier. Things don't get easier, you get stronger. Discipline doesn't come from waiting. It comes from deciding. Decide today that you're worth it. Decide today that your future matters more than your feelings. Decide today that the pain of discipline is the price of love. Because until you make that decision, you'll always sabotage your own greatness. If you want to know what your life will look like in 5 years, look at your disciplines today. Are you consistent or are you sloppy? Do you keep promises to yourself or do you break them? Do you live by your principles or by your emotions? The answers to those questions will tell you everything. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You will slip, you will fall, but the difference between the disciplined and the undisciplined is that the disciplined get back up and keep going. They don't let failure become identity. So let me challenge you. Start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Build one discipline at a time. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Put away the phone when it's time to focus. Save a small amount every week. Read a few pages every day. These small acts of discipline are like bricks, and brick by brick, you build a strong foundation for your life. Over time, the little choices will become big victories. But you gotta start now, not later. The greatest act of self-love you can ever give yourself is to discipline your life so that your future is brighter than your present. Don't talk about how much you love yourself if you're not willing to discipline yourself. Love is proven in action. And the action of discipline speaks louder than any words you could ever say. So the next time you feel like discipline is hard, remind yourself, it's not hard, it's love. It's love for your dreams, love for your future, love for your family, and love for yourself. Discipline is the bridge that takes you from who you are to who you're meant to be. And when you walk across that bridge, you'll look back and say, I didn't punish myself. I loved myself enough to do what needed to be done. That's the real definition of self-love. Focus creates results, and there's no way around it. You can have talent, you can have dreams, you can even have the resources, but if you don't lock in and direct your energy toward one thing with intensity, you'll never see the results you want. People fail not because they don't have potential, but because they spread themselves too thin. They allow distractions to pull them in 1,000 directions, and at the end of the day, they're exhausted but empty-handed. Focus is about saying no to everything that doesn't align with your mission. Because when you water down your attention, you water down your power. Nothing great has ever been achieved without intense focus. The world is designed to steal your focus. Notifications are buzzing, social media is pulling your attention, friends are calling, and comfort is always available. You wake up with a goal, but before you know it, you wasted hours on things that don't move you an inch closer to your destiny. That's why you have to be intentional with your focus. It doesn't just happen, you create it. You build an environment that supports it. You discipline your mind to stay with the task until it's done. Focus is not natural in this world of distraction. It's a skill, and like any skill, it grows stronger with practice. Think about a magnifying glass. If you wave it around randomly, nothing happens. But when you hold it steady under the sun, it channels light into a powerful beam that can ignite fire. That's what focus does for your life. Scattered energy produces nothing, but focused energy creates fire. Too many of us live life waving the magnifying glass, busy but not effective, moving but not progressing. The ones who win are the ones who hold steady, who block out the noise, who keep their eyes on the prize until the fire starts. That fire is results, success, transformation. But you'll only see it if you focus long enough. Results don't come to people who dabble. They come to people who commit. If you look at athletes, entrepreneurs, or leaders who have changed the game, their secret isn't just talent, it's laser focus. They train while others sleep. They study while others scroll. They sacrifice comfort for concentration. That's why they win. They understand that success doesn't ask, are you talented? It asks, are you focused enough to finish? It's not the smartest who wins, the most focused. The smartest person in the room can still lose to the one who knows how to block out everything and pour all their energy into execution. You gotta understand that focus is not about doing more. It's about doing well. It's about doing less with greater intensity. Too many people think productivity means multitasking, juggling 10 things at once. But multitasking splits your attention, and split attention produces mediocre results. Focus means cutting out the unnecessary so the necessary can thrive. If you got 3 goals, you don't treat them all the same. You lock in on the one that matters most, the one that creates the biggest shift, and you give it everything you got. When that's done, you move to the next. That's how results are created, one focused effort at a time. The problem is, most people quit before results show up. They focus for a week, a month, maybe 2, and then when they don't see instant results, they start chasing something else. Focus is not just about attention. It's about endurance. You gotta stay with it long enough for the compound effect to kick in. Seeds don't grow in the trees overnight. Muscles don't grow with one workout. Businesses don't succeed with one good idea. You've gotta stay in the grind, locked in, day after day, when it's exciting and when it's boring, when it's easy and when it's painful. That's how focus translates into results. Results aren't magic and math. If you consistently apply focused effort in the same direction, results have no choice but to show up. The problem is inconsistency. You can't be on fire one day and ice cold the next and expect results. Focus is about creating rhythm, building momentum, stacking wins until your life transforms. If you keep hitting the same spot over and over, eventually the wall breaks. But if you keep hitting 10 different spots once, nothing happens. That's why some people work hard their whole lives and never move forward. They're not focused long enough in one direction to break through. Ask yourself, where is your focus going? Are you focused on problems or solutions? on excuses or execution, on the past or the future. Because wherever your focus goes, your energy flows. If you focus on negativity, that's what grows. If you focus on fear, that's what controls you. If you focus on your vision, that's what expands. You are the director of your energy, and your results will always match your focus. That's why it's critical to guard your focus like it's treasure, because it is. You can't say you want greatness, but then give your focus to distractions. You can't say you want to be healthy, but give your focus to junk food. You can't say you want financial freedom, but give your focus to spending instead of saving. Focus reveals what you really value, not what you say you value. Look at your life, your habits, your daily actions. They are proof of what you've been focusing on. And if you don't like your results, you've got to change your focus. Results are nothing but a reflection of where your focus has been. Focus is also about clarity. You can't focus on a blurry target. You can't focus on a blurry target. If you don't know what you want, how can you stay locked in? That's why so many people struggle. They haven't defined the vision. They're chasing shadows, unclear goals, other people's dreams. You've got to sit down and get clear. What do you want? Who do you want to be? What's the one thing you need to give your full attention to right now? Without clarity, focus has no anchor. Once you have clarity, focus becomes natural because you know exactly where to aim. But don't confuse focus with obsession over outcomes. True focus is about the process, not just the prize. If all you do is stare at the scoreboard, you get discouraged when the score isn't in your favor. Focus means locking in on the work, the daily grind, the small steps. If you focus on the process, the results will take care of themselves. Show up, do the work, keep your head down, stay locked in, and let time reward you. Too many people want the reward without the focus, the results without the discipline. It doesn't work like that. And let me tell you this, focus is love. When you focus on something, you're saying, you matter to me. If you love your dream, you'll focus on it. If you love your family, you'll focus on providing and protecting. If you love yourself, you'll focus on growing, improving, elevating. Lack of focus is a sign of neglect. It means you're not giving yourself or your dreams the attention they deserve. And anything you neglect eventually dies, but anything you focus on flourishes. So today, decide what deserves your focus. Decide what you're willing to give your energy to and what distractions you're willing to starve. You can't feed everything and expect results. You've got to choose. Results come to the person who said, this is it. This is my lane. This is where I'm putting all my chips. I will not be moved until it's done. That's the type of mindset that produces results. Not half in, half out, but fully locked in until the mission is complete. You owe it to yourself to focus. You owe it to your future to block out the noise. You owe it to your dreams to give them the attention. Stop chasing everything and start building something. Stop letting distractions rob you of destiny. Focus is the bridge between wishing and winning, between desire and destiny, between talk and transformation. Without it, you'll always live beneath your potential. With it, there's no limit to what you can achieve. So lock in, narrow your vision, eliminate the noise. And remember this, focus creates result, not talent, not luck, not excuses. Results come to the ones who are willing to shut out the world and pour all they got into what matters most. Be that person. Stay locked in, stay consistent, and watch your life transform, not because you dreamed it, but because you focused until you achieved it. Believing in your worth is the foundation for everything you would ever accomplish in life. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you'll sabotage every opportunity that comes your way. You can have the skill, you can have the resources, and people can even open doors for you, but if deep down you don't think you're good enough, you'll hesitate, you'll procrastinate, and you'll let fear stop you. The truth is, the world often mirrors back to you what you believe about yourself. If you walk into a room with your head down, doubting yourself, people will treat you the way you carry yourself. But if you walk into that same room with confidence, with the belief that you belong, that you bring value, people respond to that energy. It starts with you. Too many people are living beneath their potential because they've accepted someone else's definition of them. They've been told they're not smart enough, not talented enough, not capable, and they believed it. They let the opinions of others set the price tag for their life. But here's the truth. Other people don't get to determine your worth. They don't know the battles you fought, the storms you survived, the potential that's inside you. You can't let someone else's limited vision become the ceiling for your life. Believing in your worth means rejecting every lie, every doubt, every negative word, and standing on the truth that you were created for greatness. When you don't believe in your worth, you settle. You settle for jobs that don't fulfill you, relationships that don't respect you, and habits that destroy you. You settle because you think that's all you deserve. But when you know your worth, you stop settling. You raise your standards. You stop chasing people who don't see your value and start focusing on the places where you're celebrated, not just tolerated. Believing in your worth means you stop apologizing for being who you are, and you start demanding more from yourself and from life. Believing in your worth doesn't mean arrogant. It doesn't mean thinking you're better than others. It means understanding that you are enough, that you have value, and that you don't need to shrink yourself to fit in. It means you can walk into any room and know that you belong there, not because you're perfect, but because you bring something unique to the table. There is only one you with your exact combination of talents, experiences, and perspective. That alone makes you valuable. Nobody else can be you, and that's your power. The problem is too many people wait for external validation before they believe in themselves. They wait for someone to clap for them, to promote them, to recognize them. But the truth is, sometimes nobody is going to clap for you at the beginning. Sometimes you'll be the only one who believes in your vision. And that has to be enough. If you don't clap for yourself, you'll quit before the world ever sees your gift. You can't outsource self-belief. It has to come from within. Believing in your worth means giving yourself permission to keep going, even when the crowd is silent. When you truly believe in your worth, you approach challenges differently. You don't see obstacles as proof that you're not good enough. You see them as opportunities to grow. You don't crumble when you fail because failure doesn't define you, it refines you. Believing in your worth means you understand that mistakes don't decrease your value. Just like a $100 bill doesn't lose its worth when it's crumpled. Your value doesn't disappear because of setbacks. You are still valuable, still capable, still worthy of success, no matter what you've been through. Believing in your worth also changes the way you set goals. People who don't believe in themselves set small goals because they're afraid to fail. They don't even allow themselves to dream big. But when you know your worth, you stop playing small. You give yourself permission to pursue things that scare you, to go after opportunities that stretch you, to believe that greatness is not just for others, but for you too. You understand that the size of your dream is a reflection of how much you believe in your own potential. Think about this. If you don't believe in your worth, you'll never put in the work required to reach your potential. Why would you? If you secretly believe you're not capable, why would you push through the pain? Why would you sacrifice? Why would you stay disciplined? Belief fuels effort. When you believe you're worth it, you'll invest in yourself. You'll put in the hours to learn, to grow, to master your craft, because deep down, you know you deserve the results. Self-belief is the engine that keeps you moving when motivation fades. The truth is, the world will often doubt you, criticize you, and underestimate you. And if you don't have that inner belief, you'll let their words crush you. But when you know your worth, rejection doesn't break you. Criticism doesn't define you. Doubt doesn't stop you. You understand that their opinion is not your reality. Believing in your worth gives you resilience. It gives you the power to keep showing up, to keep fighting, to keep chasing your dream, even when nobody else understands it. Believing in your worth also affects how you treat yourself daily. If you believe you're valuable, you won't destroy your body with junk food. You won't neglect your health. You won't waste your time on meaningless distractions. You'll take care of yourself because you know you're worth the effort. You'll invest in learning because you know your mind is worth sharpening. You'll surround yourself with people who uplift you because you know your spirit is worth protecting. Everything changes when you start valuing yourself. One of the biggest shifts that happens when you believe in your worth is that you start attracting better. Life has a way of giving you what you think you deserve. If you believe you're not worthy of love, you'll accept toxic relationships. If you believe you're not worthy of success, you'll sabotage opportunity. But when you believe you're valuable, you start walking differently, talking differently, carrying yourself differently, and that energy attracts people and opportunity that match your worth. You've got to stop disqualifying yourself before the race even begins. Too many people look at others and say, they're smarter, they're stronger, they're more talented. And they use that as an excuse not to try. But belief in your worth isn't about comparison. It's about understanding that you don't need to be like anyone else to be valuable. Your uniqueness is your strength. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs the authentic you. And when you embrace that, you unlock doors that comparison would have kept shut. Believing in your worth also requires that you forgive yourself. Some of you don't believe you deserve success because of mistakes in your past. You carry guilt, shame, and regret when you let it convince you that you're not worthy of a better life. But you gotta let that go. Everyone has made mistakes. Everyone has fallen short, but that doesn't erase your worth. You are not your past. You are worthy of a new beginning, but you'll never walk into it if you keep holding on to old labels. Self-belief means giving yourself grace and moving forward. Let me make this clear. Belief is not passive, not just saying I'm worthy. It's proving it with your action. When you believe in your worth, you back it up with work. You stop procrastinating, you stop hiding, you stop waiting for the perfect moment. You start moving, you start building, you start grinding because your belief tells you that success is already within your reach. You just have to go get it. Faith without works is dead, and belief without action is empty. Real belief shows up in the way you live, not just in the words you say. Believing in your worth is not a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. Every morning you wake up, you have to choose to believe again. You have to choose to silence the doubts, to reject the lies, to affirm your value. Some days it will be harder than others, but the more you practice, the stronger your belief becomes. And the stronger your belief, the greater your results. So stop waiting for someone else to validate you. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions to start believing. You are already enough. You already have value. The only thing missing is your belief. Once you believe, truly believe, doors will open, opportunities will come, and most importantly, you'll finally give yourself permission to live at the level you were created for. Believe in your worth, not because everything in your life is perfect right now, but because you were born with value. You don't earn it. You don't need anyone else to give it to you. You simply need to embrace it. Once you do, the way you think, act, and live will change forever. Believe it, walk in it, and watch how your life transforms when you finally recognize the treasure you already are.